So this is going to be episode 1 of the Turbo C10 project. I've got this old C10 work truck. It's got a mild 350. The two parts that the turbo is going to worry me about are it's got a cast crank and cast pistons. So I'm hoping I can get away with running a high enough octane fuel, and this thing's going to have methanol injection. I'm hoping that'll add enough octane to prevent any detonation, won't ruin any pistons, and it'll keep the heat down in the cylinders a whole lot, I hope. And then cast crank, that's just going to be the weak point. There's no way around that. People say they're good to 600. I'm guessing they're good to maybe 450. So this thing's probably going to ruin it pretty quick. This is an eBay GT45. I think they're considered a 68 mil overall. I'm not sure. It's just mocked in there right now. Trying to figure out placement. This thing's got a turbo 400 with a B&M stage 2 and the little bolt and valve body, so it'll hold first for however long I want. It's got an MSD 6AL-2 so that I can run two-step with the turbo. It's got a 10 bolt with Richmond 373s and an Auburn posi. Other than that, all I'm running for fuel system is a Holly Blue and a quick fuel boost reference regulator with a cheap shitty gauge in it, but boost reference. Alright, it's gonna run on these massive 28 by 1150, 11 and a half wide, 28 inch tall slicks. Hopefully they won't break the rear end and transmission. If they do, hopefully it's funny. I'm also, if anyone sees this who has any, I need 2 more of these, but I need them in 15 by 10. They're called weld drag lights. They're a 3-piece deal, like the old school welds. These ones are dated 90s. They still make them, but I'm not going to pay $376 a wheel. I need them in 5-on-5 bolt pattern. If anybody has any, I'll buy them and pay shipping. I'm just running stock size tires on these guys right now. 235 75 15. It's got 5-inch drop coils. It's still on stock spindles. I should have just done spindles instead of the springs because it's very sketchy alignment now. But overall, it's a pretty solid truck. I've had a couple issues with the polylocks backing off on the roller rockers. So quick rundown of the engine. It's a just mid 70s 350 with a set of 1967 they're coded for a Chevelle, but I think you could have got them in anything. I'm not really completely sure on how the casting numbers work. Just simple camel hump 194 heads. Not the greatest heads, but not bad. When I build a real motor for this thing, I'm going to go with a Skip White. I think they're 200cc straight plugs. And then it's a YN 7546, I think, intake. Yeah, YN 7546. Just little short, single plane. Holly 650, mechanical secondary, of course. It runs good, NA. It's still a small block, so got to keep up with all my buddies. Got big blocks. Gonna try and boost it and see what that does. If it leaves a crank lane on the track, oh well. It's got O rods, which are, I think, the truck rods. Better than the spaghetti rods. That's really about it. It's got a Comp Cams K1106, or just plain 1106. It's 48, 488, and I think 235 duration. 48, 488 is the lift. It's a small cam, but it's noisy. It gets the job done. Power range is pretty high, which is what I was looking for with this thing. Just a lot of top end. Magnum roller rockers. That's about all I can think of. I'm just running Howard stock length push rods, hardened. No guide plates because it's got the skinny push rod holes. Press in studs. That part also worries me. If it starts pulling them, I guess we'll pin them, or I'll just bust out the money for skip white heads. Either way, I'd really rather not run expensive heads on a cast crank in case it comes apart and launches a rod through the head or something stupid like that. I currently have a Willwood clutch pedal in it. I'm going to put a 5-speed in this, but I want to run the turbo with the auto in it in the beginning just to see how it does. Try and get it tuned in a little bit. I'm kind of torn here. I want to only run a single oxygen sensor wideband system. I guess it's not a wideband then, it's probably more of a narrowband, but I'd like to get away with only running one. But I think what I'm going to do is run one off each header and then one in the downpipe. If that's a thing. I don't really know how that stuff works yet. I'll figure it out at some point. Besides that, that's about it. This will be episode 1. I might get some shots of me doing some header fitment, stuff like that. Just simple stuff to start with. I don't want to go diving into this whole project yet. I don't even have my welder over here right now, so I'll get started and let you guys know where I'm at along the way. So we're making some progress here, just pie cutting and just pre-fitting some stuff. Got this header on, just running an upside down 90s Chevy 4-wheel drive truck, shorty. I think it's a Headman or something. Good header, real thick flange, but I'm thinking it's gonna end up way taller than I want it. I can already tell. Unless, I'll show you guys what my plan is. Let's see if I can show this with one hand without knocking everything over. I'm gonna try and go straight down through there. See if I can just hook this in right up here. Just notch that a little bit different and tie in right up there, and that way I can shorten the whole thing a few inches at least. Try and tuck it under the hood. I think it'll work. Not sure yet. I guess I'll find out. Then it's just going to shoot straight back under the frame, and I'm going to tie into the other side from there. I'm hoping to do that because that'll be the easiest option. It won't leave me a lot of options for downpipes. I'm probably just going to end up going out the fender somewhere or the hood. We'll just have to see. But not bad progress for a night. Got the old exhaust off. If anybody's wondering, these Dynamax race bullets, awesome. Some of the best header mufflers you can get, in my opinion. Because they keep they're just real loud mainly, and they keep the, what's the word I'm looking for? Like the throaty sound. They don't drown it out too much, and they don't sound tinny like Flowmasters or any of that stuff. They don't rattle like glass packs or any of that, so I'm a big fan. But it's like 4 a.m., so I think that's all we're going to do for today. And we'll see how this goes. I'm really happy with it so far, really excited. So for my oil feed and drain, I'm thinking oil feed is going to come from, let me see if I can turn flash on. There's that oil port right there, which is 1/8 inch NPT. So I'm going to come out to a -4 AN, come back here behind the alternator, right up here, right to the top of the turbo. Oh, come on. So I'm going to go right there, back behind the alternator, to the top of the turbo, and then for drain, I'm going to come straight out the bottom of the turbo and go straight into the fuel pump block-off plate. I'm thinking that'll work as a drain. I'm going to angle it down, but it feeds straight into the pan, so I'm hoping that's a decent place. Then all this, I'm actually surprised with the amount of room there is down here. I'm still going to wrap most of it, just to keep it from getting too heat soaked. But so far it seems to be going all right. I just got this in last week. This is the first time driving the truck over here today. The first time I've driven with it. Absolutely recommend MSD boxes. This is the best this ignition has performed. No breakup at high RPM, nothing like that. Two-step on the fly. You can use it as rolling anti-lag if you want to. It's awesome. I love it. It's kind of spendy for the 6AL2. You can go with a classic 6A or a 6AL box if you need a limiter. But I highly recommend MSD. I'm running a Summit HEI. It's a billet body, no idea what brand. I think it used to be a Street Fire, which is owned by MSD, but then a Summit brand HEI upgrade kit, and then took that out, put the MSD box in, and I'm running the Summit cap, Summit coil, Street Fire pickup, feeding the MSD box, and then the rest of it's just the MSD. I'm a big fan of that. I'm super happy with it. Definitely worth the money to me. Yeah. And then I'm running a, you can tell I'm a diesel mechanic, Group 65. I have a big Volvo Semi. Absolutely awesome battery. Super heavy, but I'm not sure what they're rated at. 900 cranking amps. So they can run, oh come on, all your stuff. No problem at all. Huge reserve capacity. I can run my fuel pump all day, run my fans all day. Everything. So as far as the future of this truck goes, I'm gonna cut the frame down into a short bed. Only because it has a 2-piece drive shaft. I'm not sure how well that's going to do at higher RPMs. I don't think it's going to do well at all. Not only is it real long, it's a 2-piece. And it keeps eating up carrier bearings because it's already out of balance. Here's the, look at that. That is a long drive shaft for this small of a truck. So you can see my fuel pump, Holly Blue, over there. Yeah, it keeps burning up those carrier bearings. I also haven't put a new one in it. Those are all old ones that I should have had laying around, but I'll show you guys if I can play in it. See, this rubber is actually walking out of there. You can see how much play that has. So at high wheel speeds, that's going to go very bad. I assume very fast. I think the shaft's been balanced multiple times because of the weights that are falling off. But other than that, this thing's pretty solid. So I'm going to cut it down. I'm going to cut 21 inches out right here in the straight part. Or not 21, I'm going to cut 14 up there and 7 off the rear. I don't know what's leaking oil. I should figure that out. I'm gonna cut all this excess crap off too. These old mounts and heat shields, all sorts of crap under here. Just lighten it up a little bit while I have the bed off. And I'm gonna do a flip kit on the rear. I hate dealing with rivets, but I gotta cut rivets off of all those. Bump stops. Flip the spring mounts to the bottom of the axle. Put the axle above the springs. I might go with a different spring pack too, just because these have this add-a-leaf overload in them. Because this was a pretty heavily used work truck back in its day. It's only got 43,000 miles on it, but I already bodywork replaced and painted that fender. This door sucks. It's off a wrecked Suburban. But then this thing, it's just hammered. Just absolutely destroyed back here. The other side's the same way. Just maybe all the way down this door. There's a big giant dent in it up there. This fender was the only straight part on the whole entire truck. And then when I was test driving this thing, after putting this engine in it, I had this battery here, on the mount in the bottom without this upper brace, tying everything together. I had a ratchet strap run over it. I was running it with no hood, just maiden voyage. And I hit a pothole. This hit the ground, flung the ratchet strap up over the fender, straight under the tire. It yanked this fender in and down. So I ended up poking a hole in it. I first tried grabbing in here with a come along, pulling on it. That didn't do anything. So I poked this hole out here. I'd like to get something on here and try and pull that out, but oh well. And just hooked it to the back of the truck and come along it out. So it's not nearly as bad as it was, but it's far from good. So I'm going to be doing quite a bit of body stuff on this. The hood's good. Hood's nice. Very dirty, but hood's nice. I'm going to be doing windshield. And when I shorten this to a short bed, I'm cutting 21 inches out of this rack as well. I'm thinking the easiest place to do it is going to be where it's bolted together right here. Cut this plate off, or just make another one. Cut 21 inches out, re-weld the plate, slide it forwards, bolt it back together. And that'll help me keep everything square. So you guys will get to see some of that. As far as the rest of the truck goes, it's pretty typical 80s Chevrolet, besides the Willwood pedal you see down there. Everything works surprisingly well on my... Oh, you can't see them. Hang on. There we go. All the dash lights work. It's got... This is even documented. Lenses are yellow, but right now it's got 50,536 miles on it. Documented when I bought the truck. It surprised me. Running a Summit Tac. Summit Tac, you guys can't see that. Let me turn flash on real quick. Okay, oh, there. Now I can turn flash on. Sun Pro, oil pressure gauge. Very, very basic setup. Fans and fuel pump. I'm going opposite ways for whatever reason. And that's about it. Not a bad little truck. That happened because 400 keeps blowing front pump seals out. I had the trans out 3 times in one day trying to make a test and tune. And I think it's because it's an old blown out Vega converter. But it stalls decent. 2,000 to 2,200, depends on the fluid level. But it keeps blowing out front pump seals, so we'll have to figure that out. I'll have to put another windshield in this thing. It was already broken. This big crack happened. There's a chip right here. I was laying it in, and it touched the rack up there. And then I get it almost all the way in, pushing the lock strip in. I get up to right here with the lock strip. Just push, 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 easy, easy, easy. That place right there. As soon as I push the lock strip in, bang. Huge crack all the way around. And then, so this windshield was already junk, and then I mashed it when the trans made me real angry.